everyone, I am Mary Joy Gonzaga, second year of Bitalit AFA. For today's video, I will discussing you about the development of both late childhood or intermediate scholar and adolescent, the high school learner. So, physical development of the intermediate scholars. So, late childhood is generally defined as ages 9 through 12. Others may call this stage as preteens. So, physical changes during this time or stage is fairly unpredictable among children in this age group. Early puberty. On the average, girls are generally as much as 2 years ahead of boys in terms of physical maturity. Although these developments may be determined by how close to a child is to puberty. Puberty may begin early. Budding breast for girls, which is the initial sign of puberty. Some girls may also start with their menstrual period as early as 8 and some as late as 13. So, for the girls, breast, small lumps from behind the nipple may occur, which sometimes could be painful, but eventually the pain goes away. For the boys, may also have swelling on their chest but tends to go away within a year or two. For the girls also, it is normal for one breast to develop more slowly than the other. So, the genitals. For the girls, the vulva starts increase a bit. The vagina gets longer, the uterus gets bigger. So, for the boys, subtle increase in testicle size. Penis and scrotum starts to grow. Semen may be released when he is awake or even during sleep. So, hair growth. For the girls, hair will start to grow in the armpits and pubic areas. So, for the boys, hair will start to grow and become thicker. New hair will also grow in the armpits and pubic area around the genitals. May start developing chest and facial hair. So, motor skills. During this stage, movements of the muscles and bones become more coordinated. At the age of 10 or 11 years, most children will have learned to play sports like swimming, basketball, volleyball, and running. These physical skills become a source of pleasure and great achievement to the children. In activities that use large muscle activities, boys tend to be more nimble than girls. So, another is cognitive development of the intermediate scholars. So, since children in this stage are already in their late childhood, rapid development of mental skills is evident. According to Jean Piaget, concrete operational thinkers can now organize thought effectively, although they can only logically perceive the immediate situation. They can apply what they have learned to situations and events that they can manipulate. So, initial cognitive characteristics. Intermediate school children greatly enjoy the cognitive abilities that they can now utilize more effectively as compared to their thinking skills during their primary years. Their schoolwork are now more complicated, reading texts have become longer, problem solving has become an everyday part of their lives. So, attention. Older children have longer and more flexible attention span compared to young children. Their span of attention is dependent on how much is required by the given task. In terms of schoolwork, older children can concentrate and focus more long periods of hours, especially if they are highly interested in what they are doing. So, creativity. Children at this stage are open to explore new things. Creativity is innate in children. They just need a little guidance and support from parents, teachers, and people around them. They are usually at their best when the work is done in small pieces. Creativity in children is encouraged when the activities are encourage different responses from each child, celebrate uniqueness, break stereotypes, value process over products, reduce stress and anxiety in children, support to share ideas not only with the teacher but also with other children, minimize competition and external rewards. So, the impact of the media. The impact of the use of television and other media like the computer has gained popularity because students are given more opportunity to communicate effectively in speech and in writing, work collaboratively, use technological tools, analyze problems, set goals, and formulate strategies for achieving those goals, and seek out information or skills on their own, as needed to meet their goals. So, socio-emotional development of the intermediate scholars. Understanding self-competence, self-identity, and self-concept. One of the most widely recognized characteristics of this period of development is the acquisition of feelings of self-competence. This is what Erik Erikson referred to when he described the developmental tasks of middle childhood. The social crisis industry versus inferiority. The industry refers to drive to acquire new skills and do meaningful work. Emotional development. Another milestone in this stage is the development of the children's emotional intelligence or EQ, which involves the ability to monitor feelings of oneself and others to guide and motivate behavior. Emotional intelligence has four main areas: developing emotional self-awareness, managing emotions or self-control, reading emotions or perspective-taking, handling emotions or resolve problems. So, building friendships. As children go through their late childhood, the time they spend in peer interaction increases. For them, good peer relationships are very important. The approval and belongingness they receive contributes to the stability and security of their emotional development. There are 5 types of peer status. First is popular, frequently nominated as the best friend and who is rarely disliked by peers. Second is average, receive an average number of positive and negative nominations from peers. Third is neglected, very seldom nominated as best friend but is not really disliked. Fourth is rejected, infrequently nominated as best friend but one who is also disliked by peers. Fifth is controversial, frequently nominated as a best friend but at the same time is disliked by peers. Next is family. Family support at this stage is crucial. If children do not find a supportive family when they find their interest like their hobbies like riding a bike or playing a musical instrument, they can easily get frustrated. If families are a primary support system, failures and setbacks become temporary and surmountable rather than something that is attributed to personal flaws or deficits. This time is a critical time for children to develop a sense of competence. A highly quality adult relationships, especially family relationship, enable them to successfully go through this stage of development. Big ideas. During late childhood, a wide variety of biological, psychological, and social changes take place across the developmental domains. As children progress through late childhood, the family environment remains extremely important, while the community environment, including the school, also becomes a significant factor in shaping the child's development. During the late childhood, peers have an increasingly strong impact on development. Peer acceptance becomes very important to well-being. Adolescence or the high school learner. The physical development of high school learners. Adolescence is a period of transition in terms of physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional changes. The period of adolescence begins with the biological changes of puberty. The specific ages for this period vary from biological changes of person to person. But early adolescence characterized by puberty become at the ages of 11 and 12. Middle adolescence may meet identity issues within the ages of 14 and 16. Late adolescence marks the transitions into adulthood at ages 17 and 20. Puberty. Puberty changes throughout life. Growth hormones condition gradual increases in body size and weight. Hormone flooding during adolescence causes an acceleration known as growth spurts. Growth spurts include a change in body dimensions, leg length, shoulder width, trunk length. A spurt in height is ascribed to trunk growth rather than leg growth. In girls, the growth spurts generally begin at age 10, reaching its peak at age 11 and a half, while slowly continual growth occurs for several more years. For boys, growth spurts begin at age 12, reaching a peak at age 14 and declining at age 15 and a half, while slowly continual growth continues on for several more years. The secular trend. The secular trend is a phenomenon of more rapid physical maturation during this century. In the 1800s, girls in industrial societies had their first menstrual period at age 15 to 17, an age later in repressed societies. Today, boys reach their maximum height at age 18 to 20 and 13 to 14 for girls. But adult height 100 years ago was at 23 to 25 years for boys and 19 to 20 for girls. The secular trend is ascribed to varied factors such as interaction of genetic and environmental influences, improved healthcare and living conditions, and control of infectious diseases. Better nutrition is a major factor since this provides more protein and calories for humans from conception upwards. Observably, the secular trend in industrial countries appears to be leveling off while the experience of secular trends is just starting in peasant economies of the world. Sexual identity. Adolescence is a time of sexual exploration and experimentation with sexual fantasies and realities of incorporating sexuality with one's identity. Adolescents are concerned about their body image, sexual attractiveness, how to do sex, and the future of their sexual lives. Most adolescents manage to develop a mature sexual identity, but a number go through it with much confusion. Adolescence, the high school learner. Cognitive development of high school learners. Adolescence is a time for rapid cognitive development. At this stage of development, there is a decrease of egocentric thoughts while the individual's thinking takes more of an abstract form. This allows the individual to think and reason in a wider perspective. The metacognition. Among the cognitive advances in adolescence is metacognition, which is the ability to identify one's own thinking process and strategies, inclusive of perception, memory, understanding, application, analysis, assessment, and innovation. The adolescent is able to state, "I know that," among the memory data stored in his mind. Is also able to state, "I know how," referring to procedural processes that improves memory recall through the use of a mnemonic device. Okay, later. The adolescent may also spend time reflecting about a material to be learned by answering mentally such questions as what, why, where, and how. All these are demonstration of higher order thinking skills during adolescence. Adolescence, the high school learner. Socio-emotional development of high school learners. During adolescence, the teen develop social cognition in the context of family structure, the school, the community, and the media. They also manifest emotions which need to be regulated for success in school as well as for his or her own emotional well-being. The positive and negative emotions. Emotions functions by focusing attention, motivating, and enabling the individual to face a situation in life or withdraw and run away from it. Positive emotion, like interest and joy, motivate the individual to continue her or his behavior. On the other hand, negative emotions may cause withdrawal from what may be perceived as bad or dangerous. For Charles Darwin, there are 6 basic emotions, namely interest, joy, happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear. Others scientists expanded the list to include love, pride, hope, gratitude, compassion, jealousy, and anxiety. The human emotions. Generally, emotions are commonly known as human feelings that are manifested by varied conscious or unconscious mood. A more accurate description is that it is a subjective reaction to internal or external stimulus. Description is that it is a subjective reaction. Thus, the child reacts to inner hunger for food or comfort from surrounding environment. The unique patterns of emotions are event that is strong or important, physiological changes in heart pulse rate, brain activity, hormone levels, and body temperature. Readiness for action often describes as fight or flight. Dependence of the emotion on how the stimulus is appraised or interpreted.